I'm going to start working on covering the spine of the book now, and I've got a lot of this corrugated cardboard which came out of food packaging again, and I've been experimenting a bit. It's quite flexible this way, but not this way, of course, and I've been, let's get my rolling pin out. Been messing about with this and just curving it around the rolling pin to get a nice smooth curve. And there's my pencil gone. I marked on this one a couple of little pencil marks where it would actually come to on the edge of the book. This will obviously have to be cut down to size, so I thought if I just mark that on the fresh piece. Right, that's exactly 6 inches as I measured before. So I'm going to cut this down to 6 inches. This piece. So just encourage it to go into a gentle curve. So when I place that onto there, that should give me the result that I want. I don't want it to come down here because I'm going to cover the whole thing with some roofing felt in a minute. So I think I'm just going to glue that on lightly and it'll hold it in place, hoping that's going to open nicely. I think it should be alright. Just glue that on with some Scotch quick dry adhesive, my favourite wet glue. That's going to hold. Let's hope so. Maybe I'll set that aside to dry while I cut a piece of roofing felt. And this is some roofing felt which the builder who worked on our house last year, he gave me this, and it's an offcut from a roll, and it's not actually Tyvek, it's some other make, and it's not white, as you can see. It's white on the back, and if I hold it up close you'll be able to see it's got a kind of fabric weave effect on it, but it isn't woven. It's a sort of fused, I think it's polyethylene, and it's very tough. You can stretch it a bit, but you can't tear it, and it behaves, it's the same material as Tyvek, but it's quite soft. It's got a soft handle, not like the paper Tyvek that we use with ours, but obviously this is a nice big piece and I'll have plenty to play with. And a little while ago I did a bit of an experiment with this. This was a melted piece that I melted with the heat gun. So, is that in the camera? There, that's better. So you can see it does distort and bubble just like normal Tyvek would, and it's gone quite hard. But I think for book covering and things, this should provide quite a strong hinge along where the book opens. So I'm going to cut a piece of this. I'll turn this off for a minute because it's going to be a bit take up a lot of space doing this. Okay, I've cut a piece which is 6.5 inches by 7 because I've measured around the spine. This seems to be stuck on more or less okay. I think that'll be okay. I measured around that 7 inches around with the right amount either side, but I made a 1/2 inch turning because it's going to turn in around the edge there. So the next step, I'm going to paint this with black acrylic. That's painted now, and if you can see any texture on that, but I need to set it aside to dry, and I think it is going to need another coat. I need to penetrate into all that texture to make sure it's really black. So that needs to be left. I obviously can't hasten the process with the heat gun, because otherwise I'm going to end up with this, which is a lovely property of this stuff, but not for what I'm using it for at the moment. So I'll leave that to dry, put another coat on, and we'll come back. I've been doing some experimenting with the faux leather cover, and also this is the piece of roofing felt which is going to be the cover for the binding. This is just moment painted with black acrylic paint, which has a very flat matte finish, which I don't really like. It's slightly rough. It's okay, but it's not quite the finish that I want. And so I've been doing some experiments. I had another piece of roofing felt, and I've done 3 different finishes on here. The first one is acrylic wax. I bought this at a craft show some time ago. Because I was thinking at the time about tea bag art and never really got going with that until quite recently. This is one of my, let's see if I can find one that I haven't treated. That's a tea bag which has been, there, I think that's in the camera. Which has had a bit of ink put on it and a bit of stamping on it, and then that is more or less the equivalent, but I've treated that with acrylic wax, and it's still slightly, it's okay. I think it's dry now, but you can see it sort of darkens it down quite a bit, and I think if I put more on there I'm going to get a more leathery effect, which is what I want really for my tea bag art. So this first one, that's the acrylic wax. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on the camera. And then I've got these 3 little samples of faux leather, and which were offcuts from the making the cover. Now that one is the acrylic wax. Really can't see if I'm on the camera. I think that's right. And I really quite like that. It's made it a smoother surface, and there's 2 coats on there, and I've buffed it with a soft cloth, which brings up a little tiny bit of shine on it. And I really quite like that finish. I think that's probably the one I should go for. Now the second one is regular gloss, regular semi-gloss gel medium, which is that. And again, it's got a much nicer feel to it. It's a softer sort of feel, but it's not as shiny and not as defined. And that's what it's like on the faux leather, as opposed to, that's untreated. You probably can't really see much difference. There's not a lot of difference with that one. So that was the second one. Now the third one is the acrylic varnish. I really love this stuff. It's very nice indeed, and that's what it's like on the faux leather. And it is quite shiny. And on the black painted roofing felt it looks like that. Now that is too shiny for my purposes for now, but I do quite like it maybe for something else. So that last one is just untreated. This is the untreated faux leather on the book cover. If I put that on there, that's the acrylic varnish. I think you can see it is quite shiny. It's more shiny than I want. That's the gel medium, and that's the acrylic wax. And I've already done the front of the book with the acrylic wax, just one coat so far. I really don't know how well these finishes are going to show up on the camera because it's quite subtle. Now, I've done one copy with that and just buffed it lightly. One coat of that rather, and I think I'll put another coat on, and I've just gone around on the inside as well. Whether you can see that, you can see the edge there. It just comes to about there, and then that's untreated, but you probably can't really see much difference. The difference is very subtle, but it does feel better. And I also felt that the cover of the book needed some protection. So when I've done the spine piece, that's going to be that again is the acrylic wax. That's the finish I like the best. So that's going to go instead of that. So what I shall do now, I'll just put some acrylic wax onto the back cover of the book. Just apply it with a brush. It's just quite a slightly gloopy kind of liquid, and just work it fairly well into the grain of the faux leather. And you can see it goes on milky white, but it dries clear like most of these gel mediums and things. But I really do quite like this finish. I think it's what I want. It gives the right effect of the old leather. I don't want a high gloss. So make sure it's worked well into the texture. Let's just go around the oops. You need to do the edges because the end papers won't come right up to the edge. Well, this will probably protect the cover from scuffing. I don't want any of the white card underneath to show if any of the edges get scuffed. and then just need to tidy up those edges because you get a bit of build up of the wax along the edge. Just feather that in. Right, that's okay, so I'll set this aside to dry. And then this is the piece to cover the spine. And oops. This does need 2 coats because it's quite textured and you need to work the wax into the texture. Now if I hold that up, you can see how much texture there is in this stuff. Right, I think that's pretty even coverage really. Let's try and get the excess out of the brush. And once that's dry, I'll put another coat on and maybe another one after that. See how it looks. Okay, so that's had 2 coats of acrylic wax and it's been buffed. I'm quite pleased with that. I've marked on the back where I've got to turn the ends in and just trim down, just clip down so that it fits around. And in preparation for sewing it on, I'm going to, for sticking it on, I'm going to use some PVA adhesive, which I'm just going to water down a little bit, and I'm just going to paint the back of that just to seal it. I think I'll get a better adhesion that way. Leave that to dry, and then we'll stick the back on. I'll just clip these to the measurement. Okay, so that's now able to be turned in. That will go around the spine and that will go around the book. This dries pretty quickly. Right, that's dry enough. I'm going to use PVA to stick this down. Alright, I'm just going to do the centre part first, and then I'll do the front and back boards when this is stuck down. I'll work fairly quickly because I don't want that to dry before I'm ready. do if we can get this to stick down. Right, I've put rubber bands around there, and I've also stuffed some bits of cardboard in between the back of the book and the spine to try and keep that curve. And I'm going to leave that and hope that's going to stick. And once that's done, I'll turn those ends in. The back is stuck on now, and I'm going to just clip this away a little bit. Just see if that goes over. Okay, that goes over all right, but I think that needs to be trimmed back. Yeah, I think that's better. Should be shoved down in there. Alright, let's just see if it goes okay. Yes, that's fine. Let's do that out again. Some PVA. That's not sticking at the moment. Now I think the paper clips will hold it. It's while the glue dries. And now we can do the front and back boards. it's going to stick. I hope so.